Hey everybody, Kelly here from J&KPotter, and as promised, I wanted to come out here and talk to you about my atomic grape cherry tomatoes. To be more specifically, they're called Brad's atomic grape cherry tomato. That's quite a mouthful for me. Now I do have some notes so that when I'm quoting somebody, I'll be sure and get the quotes right. So there's a guy and his name was Brad. Imagine that, right? So Brad Gates works at Wild Boar Farm. Actually, he owns the farm and it's over in California. Well, he's been described as the Willy Wonka of the tomatoes. He's made a name for himself as an innovative, open pollinated tomato breeder. What? Okay, that's quite a mouthful. And I had to actually listen to the video a little bit more to find out what all that meant. Now I knew that you could cross-pollinate things, but I wasn't sure how you got things to stabilize. Well, that's exactly what he's done. And when he creates these awesome tomato varieties, he has them in vivid, bright, bold, striped colors, and they're always full of flavor. Now he uses heirloom genetics and mutations as a foundation for his creations. His main focus on Wild Boar Farm, which I mentioned earlier, is in California. To be more specific, it's in Napa, California. He brings this amazing varieties of tomatoes to us all. Now, as you're going to see here, I have a few different shades of tomatoes. Now, these are a little darker. Can you see how brown and green and yellow they are? And then I want you to come around here and see if you can capture the purple on those. And check out those stripes. And these down here are ready to harvest. Look at that beautiful orange and brown, gold and yellow, purple and blue. I don't know if the camera can pick all that up, but they're just wonderful and beautiful. We'll see if we can get back in here and take a look at these back here. This one you can see is a little bit more purple. Now, isn't that fun? It is so fun to come out into the garden and see all those colors on one tomato plant. And they range in different sizes. When they're fully mature, they can get the size of just a grape, or they can get as big as like a plum. That's one of the neat characteristics of Brad's atomic grape cherry tomatoes. When it's fully ripe and it's time to harvest the seeds, it'll be like the ones that I showed you were orange and brown and gold and ready to harvest. And you can bet I'm going to be harvesting seeds out of that one. And I'll show you how to do that before we get done here. Because they cost about $5 for 10 to 25 seeds. So I want to be sure and grab a couple of tomatoes full of seeds and save the seeds. And I'm excited to see that if I plant them, am I going to get this same thing happening all over again? Now I have found that when I harvest these off of the vines, I've been harvesting them when they're kind of purple, and I put them on my counter and let them go to that orange and gold stage. And they last a long time sitting on your counter. So they'll be great for somebody that maybe has a supply of them and wants to go to the farmer's market, let's say, and sell them, or give them to a friend and not worry about the friend having to use them right away. Now they also range in flavor, because I've tasted them at this stage, and I've tasted them at this stage. Don't know if you can see that. And I've even tasted them at this stage. Now this stage is by far the best. They have a really sweet flavor. And that's when they are called dead ripe. And that's when you want to harvest your seeds. You want the tomato to come to a completely ripened state on the plant when you get ready to harvest your seeds. Now the beauty and the awe of all these tomatoes on one plant can only happen through God. And this gift that God has created makes my garden fun. And I love coming out here and looking at these tomatoes every day just to see them change color. Parts of the information that I gave you was in a written script form by a person named Shannon McCabe. Now you can go to rareseeds.com and look up the videos and look up the information on Brad's Atomic Cherry tomatoes. And you can also order them off of Acre Creek, rareseeds.com. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to harvest those seeds. I'm going to come over here and pick him off. Now even though he has a split in him, that's okay. My famous knife. And we're going to split it right by that split. Okay? And you know it's completely ripe when you have this olive green color in there with just that blush of red. That's when you know that it's dead ripe. Okay, I'm going to bring you down to my bowl. And I'm going to put some water in this when I get back in the house. But look at all those beautiful seeds. You just want to scoop them out with all their mucus. And what you're going to do is put water over the seeds and the mucus. And you're just going to let it sit there for 2 or 3 days, because that's going to cause a fermenting, and that's going to cause that gel to come right off of those seeds. And then I'm going to put one in some dirt and see if I can get a plant started for winter. Now I'm going to set this right down in here so that I don't dump it out before I get it in the house. Now I'm going to go ahead and harvest a couple of these just so that you can see the variety of color that I see every day. And I want you to be able to see the purples and the greens and the gold and the oranges. Look at that pretty orange and that pretty yellow and gold. Isn't that beautiful? You guys, I would very much recommend Brad's Atomic Grape Cherry tomatoes. Go out and get you some. Or better yet, come and ask me if you can have a ripe tomato and you can harvest the seeds. Till next time, go out and enjoy life.